Namaste. Last time you said that what should we do if we wake up early in the morning? It is always good when you wake up in the morning, you are relaxed or otherwise, just do either the passive practice. But if you want to do any passive practice, it is always good to do while sitting. Or sit just on the couch, not keep lying on the bed. Because that will invite all the unnecessary thought process. Second point, if you are not feeling good when you wake up early in the morning, do any active practice which engages you in the breathing, which engages you in the chanting, recitation of the mantras. That is going to help you. So that is a simple answer. So today we will go for a simple passive so-called practice. Find out the most comfortable place. Eyes are closed gently. Eyes are closed gently. And find out the perfect position of the body. Position along with the posture. Whatever the posture that you like, that would be the best thing. Now, when I say eyes are closed, you should be aware of the place plus surrounding. That is what is important. Place, where are you sitting? Well, it doesn't matter whether you are sitting in a living room or sitting on a chair or outside, but the place in the surrounding. What it means, the surrounding, it should not disturb you, it should aid you. It should not disturb you, but help you. That would be the nice thing. That is why in a traditional system, we say, why not burn the incense stick, keep one carpet or bed sheet on which you practice. So every time the mind acquires the habit of sitting, if you keep sitting on the same bed sheet, for example, or the same couch or on the floor, the mind will naturally move to the state of calmness. Because it prepares state of calmness. So that is what we should do as far as the place is concerned. And then the position of the body. Position should be, what about the position? Position should be such that it should not give any kind of no unease at any part of the body. That is important. Any part of the body, that is important. And then the posture. Normally we say the posture cross-legged, but if you cannot sit, so no worries. You can find the most comfortable position. There is no unease. Surrounding is receptive. Surrounding is helping you. And it may be. And now, being comfortable. Today we are doing a passive practice. So in that state of being eyes closed and at ease, you are being comfortable. So being comfortable, the comfort is a natural state of our being. But why we are not comfortable all the time? Why we are not all the time comfortable? It is because of the mind, So we use the mind to make ourselves to discover that comfort, to discover the comfort. So casually you look at the neck joint, being there, feel and experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So the comfort is in the body, sensation is in the body, but sensation, comfort, and steadiness is experienced in the mind. Are you aware of that fact? Look at the shoulder joint. Look at the shoulder joint. Feel and experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So when I say feel and experience, that experience is taking place in the mind. Taking place in the mind. What it means? The body is in the mind. The body is surrounding, mind is surrounding the body. Normally we say, we feel, we take it for granted as a wrong notion that the body is surrounding the mind. Mind is surrounding the body, then only we experience the sensation in the body, in the mind. Comfort in the body, in the mind. Steadiness in the body, in the mind. So we experience sensation or comfort or steadiness of the body in the mind. Now look at the entire body. Look at from the top of the head to the toes. Look at the entire body from the top of the head to the toes. Experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Now in that state of sensation, comfort, and steadiness, we move to the next step, start being carefree. What is being carefree? Free from the cares of the mind. What is being free from the mind? Mind always likes to care. So as you told me that you woke up in the morning, early in the morning, and the mind said what to do. Tell the mind, let us move into meditation. Let us discover the calmness and the peace within. So mind always likes to care, but 99% it cares unconsciously, habitually, impulsively. And that is the reason we enter into a sense of anxiousness, reaction, or frustration. So respond it positively. Let me relax and calm. So being carefree means that I am become totally free from all the cares of the mind used by the thought, feeling, and the sensation. So watch, observe, and feel. Watch, observe, and know. If I use the word watch, observe, and know. What to know? That all thoughts and feelings are separate from you. They belong to the mind, not to you. You are separate. I gave an example, the space all around the bird in the sky. The birds in the sky are always flying. Sky in the space doesn't fly, it remains as it is. So there is something in us, that is what we say awareness or a knower, which is always separate from the birds. Here the birds in the mind is the thought. One way to understand this. Another way to understand is the traffic. Traffic on the highway. Highway doesn't move. Highway doesn't move. What moves is the traffic. What moves in the mind is the thought. It is the thought that moves, not the awareness of the thought. Not the awareness of the thought. How simple it is. So early in the morning, it is the best time to follow this practice. You'll have a deeper experience. Make it sure that this practice, you do it every day. And now in that state of being carefree, we ask the mind to settle deeply, not to go outside. Not to go outside. I'm just giving you the practice extempore based on your personality, attitude, and the life. So now in that state, your mind moves on the head and the neck, as if the mind is touching the skin of the head and the neck, and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Move the mind on the right arm. So your mind is aware of the right arm. Mind is feeling the sensation on the right arm. You experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Mind moves on the left arm. Mind feels the sensation of the left arm. Mind experiences sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Move the mind on the middle portion of the body, from the shoulder down to the chest, belly in the front, and the spine at the back. Sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Moving the mind on the right leg, feeling the sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Be aware of the left arm, left leg. Be aware of the left leg. Feel and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. So to feel the entire body from the top of the head to the toes and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Now, as you wake up in the morning and you see everything is quiet at that moment. So there are two ways of using the mantra to go deeper. One way is using the breath, other way without the breath. So first we will do with the breath. One way we will do with the breath. So what we do, breath awareness, 3 points. Do you remember the 3 points? Breath is going in and out, you know it. That is the first point of awareness. Second point of awareness, when the breath goes in and out, you feel the sensation of the breath. And the third point, every time the breath goes in, you feel the sensation drop mentally, Om Shanti. That is the third point. Casually, non-verbally, not without moving the lips and the tongue. And the same thing, when the breath comes out, you know it, you feel the sensation, you drop on the breath, on the track of the breath, Om Shanti. Breath goes in, Om Shanti, comes out, Om Shanti. Continue, continue. You also discover a state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness in the body. You also discover as if the mind is living within. You also see that you are able to feel the breath going in and feeling the sensation. There you drop Om Shanti. And now, without the breath, how you do without the breath? You look at the forehead, then you look inside the space inside the forehead, then pick up a point. It should be done, and then say Om Shanti. And enjoy that infinite space. Again, you look at any point on the forehead outside on the skin. Then look inside the skin of the forehead. Then become aware of the space and pick a point in the space and then drop Om Shanti. Om Shanti means Peace is our essential nature. And the peace is like a good space. And that is why I'm using the space in the practice. No movement of the lips. You're doing it non-verbally. You recognize here is Om Shanti in your mind, and that you drop at a point in the space inside the forehead without the help of the breath. The breath is moving on its own, and the body is in the state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness. And do nothing for a while. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences and bring the hands down. Remain aware and alert and relaxed. Last time we are just in the second step of karma yoga. Means how I should perform my action. So Eastern wisdom is not saying that what action you are doing, but with what attitude. If we change our attitude intellectually, mentally, emotionally, inside, and then we perform an action, that becomes a karma yoga. Karma, simply action. So I perform any action in my life if I'm not conscious, if I'm not aware, if I'm not aware of the particular attitude that is present in the mind, it simply becomes karma. 99.9999% of our karma is dictated by our impulses, by our habit, by our reaction, by our anxiety, by our duality. That, oh, no, it becomes very difficult for me to talk like this, to act like this. No, I'm not ready. You see, sudden upsurge of that. But in karma yoga, we become free. and we change our attitude in the mind before we perform that yoga. And that is where we say all our karma, we act with selfish motive and desire. What is selfish motive and desire? So, selfish motive is that I act out of attachment or aversion or delusion, or I act out of emotional dependence, or I act out of binding desire. And that binds us. So the mind demands the same action again and again. I reacted to someone, and my mind proves that this is the way I reacted. The next time I meet that person, and I don't react because of the outer society, but my mind is already reacting. It has started reacting. So that is what is known as I am doing action out of the selfish motive. But in karma yoga, we say it is a selfless action. It is unselfish. So it means I'm not acting out of attachment and aversion and delusion. Say, for example, I'm speaking to you, I'm very clear about my motivation. And what is that motivation? To give. And in giving, there is no attachment. But obviously, if you want to give something, how can you be attached? In attachment, mind keeps that motive of grabbing to receiving. I want to know, at least you should have respected me, you should have taken care of me. You see, it's a attitude of receiving. But if the motive of giving is there, so giving makes your mind free. I think I covered a little bit in the last session. So do I have an attitude of giving? Am I in the giving mode all the time while living, thinking, and speaking and acting in the world? You will always be free from anxiety, duality, conflict, pressure, stress. So that giving nature or unselfish action means that it is free from attachment and unselfish does not mean that you don't get a result. The reward comes together. That reward is manifold. And the first part that we understand, let me recognize my duty, responsibility. Where is my duty at the professional level? When I wake up in the morning, where is my duty for the body to keep it clean? Teeth, take a bath. What is my duty towards my mind? I must sit for meditation. Check that where the mind is going. Calm down. Where is my duty towards my son? I am a mother. So I perform motherly love. I want to give the motherly love all the time when I meet and interact with my kids, with my honey, you already know, at the professional level. So that is what we talk of the duty. And so your mind says, this is my duty, whatever the condition outside is. Even if my son doesn't like me, it doesn't matter. My duty as a mother is to give. So in that giving, you're not expecting then what happens? You find the best state of the mind. That is what the attitude, that is how we understand the attitude of the mind. Professional work is a contribution. Now you're doing a professional work as a contribution. So you are doing your duty, your professional work as a duty. you become aware that it is benefiting many other employees, isn't it? It is benefiting the society, isn't it? So with that attitude, you do your duty. So that is a sense of contribution. You connect. You don't connect to the attachment. You are connecting to the greater cause. It's a greater cause. You're doing a business, so obviously it is a contribution to the society, to the nation. So what it takes to simply think of it, that today I'm going to a professional work for your society, I'm connecting to the society, contributing to the society, contributing to the people. With that attitude, your mind will never escape from your professional duty. You will enjoy it. Why I'm doing? If you change because of the knowledge I'm passing on, which has come from my masters, don't you think that you, as a center of the peace and calm, going to contribute and connect to the people around you and the relations around you? Think. So we are changing the whole attitude. It is not a selfish attitude. So the karma yoga has two basic elements. One element in sight, that is the mental attitude of being a contributor, being a connector, contributor, and celebrator. So when you become a connector and contributor, you celebrate that particular. You become a connector, you become a contributor. What happens? Karma yoga. So what happens when you become a contributor and a connector? What happens? You find that you are almost a non-doer. What is that non-doer? There is a sense of ego-less attitude. Ego-less attitude in thinking, in speaking, and in acting. And the second element, that then your mind does not worry about the result and the outcome. The result comes, but you are not at all concerned. Your mind is not. You know what happens in karma? I'm a grabber, I'm a receiver. So I have a projection in my mind to receive a respect from you, and I have a selfish attitude. So not only I think and speak and act differently, but my mind is constantly worried about the result. So there are two elements. Being a non-doer, I'm acting without the egoistic identification with being the sole agent responsible for the outcomes. And it is so easy and simple. I think like this first. I think mentally, emotionally. My mind is clear before I think, speak, and act. It means I recognizing that the result manifests due to many factors coming together. Even my attitude is of giving, and I come to you. For example, you react. So then what happens? I am not reacting. Why? Because I recognize that you have some problem. That is why you are reacting. And I maintain my calmness in both. My master used to give an example that a farmer may till the soil, plant the seed, water the field, and then rest. What are the other factors? The quality of the soil, the fertilizer, the rain, the sunlight sprouts that seed. Same way, we think as if I'm solely responsible for all the actions. No, there are many other factors responsible for our actions. A farmer does not claim that I grew the crops. The sprout came because of me. The sprout came because of many other factors. The farmer says that I played my role in a natural way. I did my duty. That attitude of non-doership reduces egoism, selfishness. In turn, it dissolves the attachment and detachment and delusion. And still I continue to do my karma. And then I enter into the karma yoga, which fills my life with the peace and calmness and the joy. Second aspect, as I discussed just now, is the non-attachment to the results. Like the farmer is non-attached to the result. We act with full commitment as a sense of duty. But we let go of preconception about that I must achieve outcome. No, I loosen hold of must achieve outcome. That's what happens. Your mind is now free. It is enjoying every moment. So when we practice action outside, so to attitude inside, I act as a sense of duty for the sake of doing, for the sake of contributing, for the sake of connecting, and at the same time, I am not concerned about the result. Result will bound to come. Not concerned does not mean that, who cares? No, that is a negative. Result is bound to come, but the mind is not worried about, concerned about the result. So there is no anxiety, frustration, upset. And if it happens in daily life, the life is going to transform. What is going to happen in the step 2? We are purifying the mind. But why we are purifying the mind? What is the step number 1? We have an intellectual clarity and understanding about the real self. The real self will not be realized if the mind is not pure. So how the mind is becoming pure? By doing the karma yoga. When you are doing the karma yoga 24/7, the moment you wake up until you sleep at night. So what is going to happen? A kind of an attitude of meditation will remain present during the entire day. Can you be into anxiety reaction when you are in the state, almost in the attitude of meditation? Ask yourself. And that is what perhaps I discussed. I remember the 2 ministers of a king. 2 ministers. So one minister always spoke sweet sounding words to make the king happy. And the other unvarnished truth for the betterment of the king. So there are 2 ministers present in the mind. Mind becomes one minister. It runs after the pleasure because of attachment, because of the selfish motive. And in other case, other minister in the mind says, no, let me see what is good for me. What is better for me? How can I not be into the anxiety and the reaction? Or let me become a connector and the contributor. We need both, but the second minister should dictate over the first. First, we check what is good and what is right, what is the sense of duty, am I connecting, am I contributing, and over that, if I get some kind of a pleasure, it's okay. Both functions are required. Let me grab a cup of tea. Yes, okay. So, is it the right thing to do? Yes, it's normal in the modern society. Let me grab a cup of tea, finish. No, if I don't take a cup of tea, I will be into anxiety. That is the first work of the first minister. It has a selfish motive, it is attached to it, and because of the attachment, it wants to grab, it wants to have an habit. Comfort. Yeah, this is comfort and the pleasure. We need that comfort and pleasure, but not at the cost of attachment and aversion and habit and addiction. That is what the binge eating is. That is what the drug addiction is. So if I want to build a healthiest relationship with my mind, I have to understand the journey of these two ministers constantly working in our life. So what to do when the pleasure-seeking mind dictates the life means the first minister? And then there is another story that I discussed last time. A mother of a child, of an impatient son. So every time the impatient, crazy child demanded sweets before the dinner, sometimes the mother said, "Okay, let us have it," with a smile. But after some time, the mother said, "No way. First you have to eat the food and then I will think. And here is a sweet agenda. You have to take the sweet this much daily, not more than that." So that is the way motherly we have to take over the mind. If you don't take the mind motherly, then it is going to make you crazy, and that is what is happening. That you have to realize. That is what we have to understand clearly. So again, it comes to the attitude. The message here, there is a message here about the real self and the false self. If the first minister, in the mind that is constantly seeking the pleasure, only because of this we have anxiety, reaction, duality, delusion, and conflict. No, but there was nothing in the morning. I woke up and then still I have an anxiety. You don't remember, you don't know that. Maybe at the non thinking level, you have certain impressions, they pop up. And then they say, what to do? Do karma yoga. What to do when you wake up early in the morning? Do meditate. I have done it. Still I am awake. Repeat it. I have repeated. Still I am. So, second minister is guiding. Do it. Repeat it. Second time, third time, fourth time. What is going to happen? After 3 and 4 times, your mind is relaxed, and on that day, you will recognize the whole day passes peacefully because you are living into a higher level of awareness. That is the solution. Two ministers, mother. So the karma yoga, basically karma means action. So we sometimes think that I have to do particular action, I have refrained from particular action. No, it is all about the attitude in the mind, a mental state in the mind. Mental state is saturated with connecting, contributing, and celebrating. That is karma yoga and mental attitude guided by the selfishness of attachment and detachment, of expectation, of grabbing, of receiving before I give the action. That is what brings my stress and anxiety in our lives. My mind is then constantly guided by the likes and dislikes, demands and reactions. And in the presence of this attachment and detachment and anxiety, we lose awareness of the vast peace and happiness that are located within us. That is why we have to do karma yoga. Path of selfless action. Path of selfless action. So be very clear about selfishness and selflessness. Thought, speech, and action. Coming out of the selfishness, thought, speech, and action coming out of the selflessness. So selfishness contains an element of attachment, detachment, reaction, delusion, expectations, obsession. That is what the selfishness is. Don't take literally what the selfishness people talk about in the society. Selfishness comes from, means any action, any thought, speech, and action done with an attitude of thought, speech, and action done with an attitude of attachment, detachment, delusion, obsession, craving, demanding, or receiving. A lot of expectation is there. That is what. And opposite attitude of connecting, contributing, celebrating your life. Understand it clearly, and once you understand, you start implementing. Attachment means that I need a certain outcome to make me happy. Whether a desired reward, praise, avoiding criticism. So what happens, this narrows our focus on what is in it for me. Aversion means wanting to avoid discomfort and the difficult work required. That is why you talked about the professional activities at the age of the retirement outside. We prioritize temporary pleasure over meaningful contribution because of aversion. Ignorance underlies both. It is only because of ignorance. I just change my attitude, outer action would remain the same. So unselfish action performed means that is devoid of attachment, aversion. It springs from the inner fullness. You move from the peace to peace. That is why you are performing an action. You are relaxed and you move from one point of relaxation to the other point of relaxation without aversion for one's duty. You are embracing rather than avoiding. You're rooted in the wisdom of contribution, connecting in the celebration in your life. You are acting from the duty, not from the ego. So internally, your action is the same. You go with an unselfish attitude for your duty at workplace, or you go with the selfishness, you are going to do the same work. One work binds you, one work makes you stressed and anxious, and the other attitude makes you happy. You start from the relaxation mode and you end up in the relaxation mode. I believe you are getting it. I'm trying to make you understand clearly in a simple word. So, central concept of karma yoga is that we leave the personal identification. Identification again, be very clear: attachment, detachment, delusion, expectation, seeking. I become a receiver before I act. So that is one thing. So one is that I identify with the action and I also identify with the outcome. But without ego, I leave both. No identification. When we act out of ego for fame, power, and the wealth and expectation, we reinforce our sense of doership. Then what happens? We get entangled. Then my attachment in the mind, my aversion in the mind, my reaction in the mind is in full swing to continue to create the cycle of my action and reaction. And I return home, even from a party, with a great amount of distress. How acting out of duty, not ego, makes a karma yoga. When we act from the ego motives for personal gain, means same attachment, detachment, delusion. We reinforce the narrow doership in me. Oh, there is a doership in me. Oh, I'm doing this, I didn't receive. I didn't receive respect from you. No, expectation is there. And which is, that expectation is insatiable. Outcome is unpredictable. We remain dependent on the external factors for inner peace, and that is going to stress you. No one can get you free from the anxiety, reaction, and suppression. In karma yoga, the focus shifts entirely. In what way I perform the duty for you, by connecting to you, by contributing to you, by celebrating. Contributing selflessly without preoccupation in my mind for an expectation. And that is going to change your life completely. With ego outsourced, action becomes offering rather than grasping. This attitude of giving a personal motive dissolves the binding false I-ness. What happens then? You are free. You become like a child. You think, speak, and act like a child. Not childish, because the mind is clear. You are free from the entanglement. What is the result? Mental balance, equanimity, calmness, and peace. Before the action, during the action, after the action. And second element, I said, we just made it very clear that then you are not at all concerned about the result of an action. Why? Because you are performing your personal duty as a connector, as a contributor, as a giver. Result is bound to come, and the result will be better than expected. It doesn't mean that you are not caring about the results or accountability. Your aim is for excellence and optimal outcomes we receive. So when I drop the outcome, I don't think about the result, does not mean, no, or simply it means I'm not attached to the specific reward or avoiding punishment as the motive. Acting from the duty, it's, oh, this is my duty, I have to connect and contribute and celebrate, rather than what we hope action will bring forth to me. Once you progress into the karma yoga, I can bet you'll start flying in life. Without ego attachment, one can act with a full integrity and a mental clarity rather than anxiety about the personal gain or the loss. It is going to help your physical well-being, mental well-being, emotional well-being. Attention remain fixed on the action itself rather than a speculation about the result. What will my son say if I'm going there? No, let them say anything. Let me connect and contribute. So what will happen? Whatever the result will come, you will calmly welcome. And there is a state of equanimity will take over your mind. And that is how we change our attitude completely. So there are two factors, equanimity and purification of the mind. Equanimity and purification of the mind. So we will talk in detail again about the equanimity and the purification of the mind. That is all about the mental attitude before I think, speak, and act in my life. Thank you, my friend.